kind of untangled the two from each other. It's a little bit frustrating, but this Go code that we were working on before, much of it's going to change, particularly after we do generation. So this tokens list will probably stay the same, so I'm going to leave that one there just in case. But I know for a fact that this this stuff here, where is it? Actually, no, not that. That's the parser. The JSON parser stays. That's good. That's one of the few things that's not going to change. We're using it. We're going to add long form to it, but we can't do that until we have tokens and types identified. So the other thing that's going to go though is these identifiers. Where are they? God damn it. Types. I don't even see them now. Node class needs to be tweaked. There's lots to do here, but yeah. Anyway, I'll just go through it. So the way we're doing that is we're in our generate code. We're walking through everything, and so yeah, I'm probably gonna. I've also been debating about whether to get rid of the underscores. And I don't know, we're gonna look at that again. I might have to do that. I don't know. We're just yeah. I don't know. Today I'm gonna try it without underscores, and I don't know. I really don't care either way. Again, I want it to be C-like more than anything, so I guess I'll keep them for today. So generate tokens. We have an action that's going to gather up all the stuff. We visit everything from the root PEGN node on down, and we just keep adding all the token types. Now, exactly, this is a different one. We're going to delete this one. Actually, we're not going to use that one. We're going to use this one. Get gen tokens, and we'll change this one, and we'll use it this way. I'm going to mark off this visit action, and we need to identify this as a token first. And if it is, now see, this is where it gets interesting. So this is going to be wrong because of the node tree that we talked about. So before I do anything else, I need to make sure that the number is right. And I believe that is not right. So that's something I need to bring over from the other parser. Or the other package. So this is something we corrected last night. We separated out the numbers. And I believe they're all in ND now. So yeah, these need to stay the same. And they've been fixed. So yeah. I'm going to go over here. I have to actually fix them in the one file version. And again, this is all temporary. There's so much chicken and the egg kind of stuff going on that it can get a little bit annoying. But the one thing we do need to check is make sure these numbers are right. and they are currently not. So delete all of those. They're incorrect, so it's not hurting anything to delete them because they don't match anymore. Classes can stay. So yeah, the tokens too. I think these don't stay because these have to go too. I think the tokens are good, but you know, I don't know. This is what we're generating anyway, so you know, this is kind of a mixed bag. In fact, let's put this. I'm going to make a file called temp underscore stuff.go. This file's not going to stay around, don't worry. But what we're going to do is pull in. No, that's not it. Temp. What is it? nd dot whatever. And that's going to force it to set all the constants and everything the way we want. And so yeah, this is we'll have to change all these, and we'll put a prefix in here. I don't know if this is gonna work, but we'll try it. Oopsie, almost. Oops. Oopsie. I just need to do a macro. I don't give a shit. God damn it. Why are you having so much pain? I'm not doing well this morning. There we go. I mean, I might as well just do this. These are actually the right numbers, which we definitely want to get right because we only have the short form JSON parser on marshaller. And we don't want to, we wouldn't be able to detect them reliably if we didn't do that. Yeah, so this can all stay. These can all stay. PEGN types. We don't have a PEGN types. We have a PEGN nodes now. But I think that will work. And PEGN checks. So we can fix this one. And put yeah, this is probably not needed. PEGN nodes. Oh, it's a capital N. Undefined types and 755. Yep. Those are all going to change. So great. I think we can reliably get our number now. I mean, we'll find out. But so back to our generator. If we have a token def, then we want to do something with it. In this case, we just want to add it to the buffer. And I'm going to uncomment out some of this test code. So we load in our AST and then parse it and then generate our constants, actually tokens. And there you go. There's sort of our constants. Let's actually do something better with them though. So we're going to go get, the first thing is the value. I think that should be the name. Wrong, Rob. Oh wait, we got R curly. Yeah, a lot of these are reserved, so that's what's going on. We don't care about... Did I have is terminal in here? Please tell me I do. I added a kind of a utility to tell you if you have a terminal or not. Yes, I do. Nice. All right, so if n.is terminal, then do this. Actually, oh wait, here's our is terminal right here. Oh, I see what's going on. I mean, terminal. Nothing to print there, so none of them are terminal apparently. You know what? I liked what I had there before, actually. I just took over the node with its child. If it's not terminal, so if it's parents. So if it's a parent, then we want to grab the value of its first child, which should be reserved ID. So we're going to do that. So I say n equals n dot value 0. Can I use it in type byte? No. N dot what do you see here? Oh, first child. That operation. What is it called? It's first child, right? I think it's first child. I can't remember. Well, it's not an index, dummy. So there we go. So end at first child. Yeah, so end at first child has it should be the reserved ID. Yeah, I guess it is. Okay, so oopsie. Oh shit. All right, so that gets us kind of where we need to be. I mean, getting very close. So right curly. Yeah, we still need the value though, and that's gonna be the tough part. Yeah. I'm trying to think it doesn't have the value in it. Maybe another AST error. So if we have am I searching for token IDs only? I think I might be. That's not good. We do token ifs. Okay, so we need the equal sign and everything. So the first token ID, so it's the first child of a token def, which is always going to be a parent. So yeah, this is completely work. All right, so the first thing is the definition. So yeah, so the name is the first value, the first child, the value of the first child. That is going to be the title. So yeah, that should be the name or whatever. And did I get that right? At least R curly is right. Why is R curly right? Let's check. The first thing, so this is the first child. And, oh wait. No, that's the first child. So first child, the first child is usually going to be reserved. So we have to ask the question, is it? Yeah, and these are going to be reserved usually. They don't always are. So the token ID might be reserved. If it is, we grab that. Otherwise, it's its own value. That's a sort of a way to do attributes. If name dot, well, if it's not a string, let's see. I don't think I have to do any translation of it. This is good. This is good stuff because it's helping me figure out how to use the node tree, which is in the user land space. It's how they would do stuff. So, we need to check whether name is an integer or not. If name dot is parent, name equals, actually it's ident. Then the ident equals and that first child dot value and dot first child dot value. Undefined. Well, all right. So, right, because there is no value. Right. So, we want the first child value. Undefined has no. So if it's a string, okay. So undefined type string. How do we do a type check? It's like it's an interface assertion, but I mean, I know one way to do it with a print, but that's not what I'm thinking. That's a good idea. I mean, I can do it with a switch, but you know what? I almost know that that's the way to do it, so I'm just going to do it that way. So switch. Switch v ident.type. There needs to be an easier way to do that. I'm going to have to revisit this. It's almost like there needs to be a meta type which isn't derived from it. I wonder. This is just JSON data, so it doesn't have any notion. So this is, yeah, this is getting into more specificity. And when we do the unmarshalling with JSON, we've already created our own JSON unmarshaller. So it's not that much extra cost to say, you know, here's your type in addition to the other things. And then we wouldn't have to need to do all the switch stuff. It's probably something we should do. And then I could set it as a property on the node that's inferred during unmarshalling. That would be way faster, actually. Than forcing everybody to just switch on type every time. And then is parent and is terminal would not be inferred methods. They could be attributes, or methods or something. Not methods, but members. So yeah, I'm going to do that. That's the way to do that. This is way too painful. So yeah, we should be able to do is parent and then do all that stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and comment this out temporarily again and fix that. Yep, and then we'll return to that. But I'll do that in just a second. I'll be back if you're still here. Gotta go get some more coffee. Good morning again. All right, so back at it. So we're going to do a little bit of type inference here from the unmarshalling. I'm going to give the node a type. So we don't have to look this up every time. So technically we could check for the first child and see if it's a parent. Actually, no, we can check for the value. If there's no value, then that means there must be a child. Because that's how the parsing goes. So we actually don't have to do anything. We can just change our code. Oh, it's not too hard. That's better, actually. That'll be better. So we can say this instead. We can say ident. So we can say if so everybody has a first child. The first child should be well, let me think here. Tokens. Now, if the token type's a token depth, then the first child is the identifier. So it'll be a token ID, and then we get the first value. So that's all good. And we can actually go ahead and just print that. So I'm kind of concerned why that doesn't show up, though, that one. First child ident. And not value. Oh, I know why. Because it's going down into each tree sequentially. Yeah. Actually, no. This is what we should be. This should be filtering it right here. So if it's not a token def, just return, and we're good to go. Let's just do something here for a second, just for grins. I just want to see if I'm getting the right stuff here. Yep, there we go. So we're getting all this stuff, and they're all type 10, which means they're all type defs, which means they all have children. And so if we were to do endowed first child, this should be a token identifier. Yep, there we go. See, right curly has a problem, and that's what I'm concerned with. So these are all, I think these might be holes in the schema still, or in the parser. Yeah, I don't know why right curly is wrong, but that's a problem. So we're gonna go look at the long form. Oh, right curly is not listed as one of the reserved IDs. That's the problem. So that is a spec problem. I'm glad we found this. This is why I'm doing this. So yeah, what that means is that is not listed under reserved. And yep, I have right curly here, right curly here, right curly, and right curly. Does that mean it wasn't listed in the initial tokens? I have a feeling that's what it means. CD PEGN go. Yep, that's the only thing I can figure. So that means that the original parser here, the AST for tokens, is Bork. This parser is Bork. Token ID is Bork. This is missing something. Res token ID is Bork. And that's relatively, yep. I have our curly let's make sure that's not present in the spec itself that way. Our curly. All right, so spec is good. This parser was Bork. So that one got missed. Here we go again. Our curly. Git push. I'm going to delete the tag. Git tag -f first gold. And git push tags. I have to keep pushing up the tag on that one every time I find a mistake. So, because that's going to get, when we merge in, we're going to want to fix that. I'm seriously tempted to not merge it at all and to switch this over instead of being a tag and have it be a different branch and have it just leave that branch alone, and then turn the one file into the main master branch. I'm seriously tempted to do that right at this point. So we have a problem because this AST is wrong, as is the one that was built with it. So go install and local bin. And then we can do this. We can do PEGN AST. Remember PEGN. And this should definitely be different. Actually, st1.json. Yep, there's only one line, so I already know it's fixed. So that also means the other one, in fact, we can prove it. So AST long, check it. It's going to be curly. It's going to be a plain instead of a reserved. There we go. See that? Run out of money. America has become such a cynical society. Oh my gosh. Yeah, believe me, I know. Yeah. Yeah, it's true, Mac. But, you know, the forces that led to this are complicated. It sucks, but it's true. Mm. You can't just say America sucks. You can't. It does suck, but you can't just say that. Uh, Absolutely, Mac. That is totally 100% true. There is zero empathy in our country. That's the biggest problem. Nobody does anything until it helps to them. Politicians all of a sudden flip on AIDS and transgender and, and gay marriage. They flip on all these things as soon as it happens to them. As soon as they get COVID, oh my God, yes, I'm so stupid. Nobody has any empathy in this country. That's the biggest problem. The biggest problem is no one can put themselves in anybody else's shoes. It's above all the other problems we have. That is the biggest. And we're supposed to be some fucking Christian country. Bullshit. Christ would leave it in a heartbeat if he came here. Give him the benefit of the doubt. That's my mantra. Give people benefit of the doubt. Give people benefit of the doubt. I got to remember that. Got to, yeah. So, PEGN, PEGN grammar. Happy thoughts, happy thoughts. Yep. Otherwise, I will go nuts. It manifests itself in so many tiny little ways. Just being on a street corner and almost having your legs ripped off by a car that cuts the corner and goes full speed because it doesn't give a shit about the pedestrians. I mean, I could cite so many specific tiny little examples of lack of empathy. It's insane. I don't have a smartphone. I haven't had a smartphone for 2 years. Yep. You can call me whatever kind of tinfoil hat person you want, but, or you can just go fuck yourself. Because I get shit done. You know what else I don't do? I don't play Fortnite for 4 hours. Yeah, I don't bury my head in the fucking sand. But you kind of have to. If you don't want to go insane. If you think about it too much, you either have to laugh or you get angry like I am right now. So I have to laugh. I'm going to try to laugh. Ha ha. Yeah, it's just an empathy thing. People don't care. You know what? I know this sounds really, really cynical, but at the end of the day, no one gives a shit about anybody else. If you push them to the edge, they only care about themselves and their children. At the end of the day, everybody doesn't care about anybody else except for themselves and their children. It is built into us from the time we were sperm cells, busting the other sperm cell out and killing it so that we could make it to the egg. We have been in survival competition, no matter how much we want to kumbaya that shit and say, hey, we all love each other and we're a single species. It's not true. And ever since then, the 1% of humanity, look at our species. Our species has taken over the fucking planet as a virus, and it still wants more. It still wants more. We're fundamentally built to crave more, which means the 1% oligarchy is going to go sky high off the roof. Pretty soon they'll be replacing their own organs, and they're going to continue to beat down everybody else because at the core, survival of the fittest is the law of the day. And I hate that that's true. But it is, and it keeps manifesting itself every time. Anytime there's any scarcity or anything like that, people don't roll over and give over what they have to the next person down the street. They might do that for themselves, but if they have children, and they have to decide, okay, do I kill you and get this food for my children, or do I let you have it and I let my children die? Every human on planet Earth will kill to protect their children. Almost everyone. There's like, and that is a really sad thought because that means there's no way out of this. It's like when shit hits the fan, ultimately everybody will protect themselves. They'll sacrifice their own life, but they won't sacrifice the lives of their children. Yeah, well, I know some animals do that. They're more, I don't think that the human species is capable of doing that, but I know that gets, it's, you know what, and religion makes everybody like basically drugged. They think that there's some bigger purpose for all of this. That's going to, the real purpose of religion is to keep everybody from actually behaving like animals. Because if we did, anyway, I must be in a cynical mood this morning. I definitely am. It's just hard. My wife sits down there every morning. I love her to death, but she sits down there every morning and goes through the news and just completely destroys her psyche. And, you know, it's just, you know, we're talking about I think it's The Fall of the Roman Empire is the book I read a long time ago. And it talked about one of the last final signs before the end of a civilization. It's just like the serious precipitous drop in birth rate. And we were talking about how children, you know, young people today are like, oh fuck no, I'm not having kids. You kidding me? And there's probably lots of reasons for that. It's, you know, there's plague and pestilence and war, and they just don't want to bring people into that world and all that stuff, and they want to do the right, correct thing, and overpopulation of things. There's lots of reasons that people would decide not to have children. But I bet you the number right now is like, oh hell no, I'm not having kids. And so yeah, but that's like one of the documented signs of the final stages of a civilization, is when they don't want to bring children into the world anymore. And if my friend and I are thinking to ourselves, like, if I had to choose to have children right now, hell no. You know, would I even get married? I don't know. You know, it's sad. It's sad. I wish we could get out of this. I do. I'm not trying to be an upbeat dude, but lately, don't get mad, don't get sad, get busy, you know. And so I'm just gonna try to do more. It's all we can do, man. All we can do is just to try to do our part better. It's like such a helpless feeling, though. You feel like you don't have any control of it. But you know, the best you can do is make the best of it. And so yeah, there will be morals even without religion. I agree too. I agree with that. Hey, what's up? Hi, couple votes. What's going on here besides our doom and gloom talk for the morning coffee talk? I'm just working on PEGN.dev, Pagan Dev. It's a language, meta language for generating other languages, so I can build other things. So I can ultimately build the knowledge net, which is a rethinking of the internet based on knowledge. Because that's really what's killing us, is we don't have knowledge. Daily doom and gloom, so I feel better. But like, you started it, Mac. You came in here. I blame you. It's fine. It's totally fine. You know, you're welcome to vent occasionally, but you know, it's like, I took down my policies so that we can support each other a little better by, you know, not repressing some of this conversation, what are you going to do if you can't even talk about it? There's people who are sequestered away, who don't even have communities to talk to about some of this shit. And they need to, you know, they need to be able, otherwise what are we going to do? If we can't band together, those of us who are trying at least, and if we can't communicate, if we can't share knowledge, if we can't improve, and we have all this technology at our disposal, then what's the fucking point of it all, you know? So yeah, it's fine to talk about these things as long as we move on and turn them into, you know, calls to action. And I chose that word specifically kind of in the Aaron Schwartz sense. Well, you just don't look at the paper is what you do. Right now, looking at the paper is just very dubious decision. It's like, I don't want to know the global issues. You know, I until the tanks are in the middle of my... So yeah, I am guilty of sticking my head in the sand in that regard. Do I stick it so far in the sand that I'm fucking playing Fortnite all day? No. but you know, it's all gobbledygook. That's one word for it. My only news related to things in tech. I don't care about the rest of the stuff. Yeah, that always reminds me of the technologist in Hunger Games. Is that the technology was intriguing? You know, they're killing people. It's like the technology was intriguing. I don't care about the death and destruction. All I care about is the tech. All I care about is the tech. You know, there's another vein of thinking that goes. I just love how the Hunger Games deals with that whole topic. Yeah, it's like they look the other way and they don't think about how their tech is being used. And I also don't think tech is political, so it's kind of like middle of that somewhere. So yeah, yeah, but weren't they like the third? Wasn't that the technologist district? Wasn't that like number three? I always like that because it's like that's kind of the way we are now. You and I and all of us who are doing tech. You know, we're like the third rung down. We're not the oligarchy, right? Living in lap of luxury and vomiting so we can eat more food. And we're not, you know, I watched the platform the other day, so this is all in my mind. We're not the, you know, we're not level two, which is all the sports people, which I really love that about the Hunger Games. Yeah, we're not the sports people. Sports people are still more valuable than the tech people. You know, that's where we give all our money to, right? All the sports jocks and everybody. That's like number two. You know, people who file their teeth down so that they look like an alligator or whatever. And then you have the tech because we need them. You know, we can't do anything else without the tech people because they make our weapons, they make our power, they make new ovens. Yeah, it's it is what it is. I go through phases. Sometimes I really like it, sometimes I hate it. Um, but and the books are the first time I watched it I about puked. The first scene when all those kids get slaughtered, I about puked. I swear to God they've toned down that scene. There was like blood everywhere. It was so disgusting. I was like, how can you even portray this? I mean, it was just like, ugh. To this day, it just makes me queasy because it's just so. My problem is that I have kind of this radical empathy thing going on. I have a really hard time disassociating myself from people, and so I end up coming off as a gruff, angry, uncaring dude. But I have to do it because I just connect so with fictional characters. I end up connecting with fictional characters so much that I feel the pain and stuff, and it gets me in trouble. Disproportionate amount of money enriching kids in sports makes me furious. Oh God, yeah, dude, don't even get me started on that topic. Not to mention is killing them. Yeah, there's overwhelming evidence that football causes microtrauma to the brain. In fact, some of the biggest, including Mike Ditka, one of the most famous icons in football, have come out in campaigns trying to stop Americans from killing their children, making them brain dead. And we continue to play Little League football. And if you say anything bad about football in America, somebody will pull their gun out. And it's just so sad. Adam ruins football. Adam ruins sports. They go into all the details of it. You would not believe that. Oh yeah, totally. But you would not believe the people, the famous sports football celebrities who've come out against it. Yep. They're like, oh my God, no, I would never do it. Not even a little bit. Because yeah, he was so brilliant. Yeah. But he's famous. That's all that matters, right? Sigh. Sigh, sigh, sigh. Add git commit. Yeah, he was, dude. He was brilliant. He's poetic, creative. Rather not be famous. Well, if anything, the younger generation is seeing all this shit go down, and they're like, "Oh my God, oh my God!" Like, no, not me. The millennials already sort of did that, right? They were like, really, oh no, not me. I'm not doing that. But the Z's, the Gen Z's, they are like, you know, a lot of the Gen Z's are just hiding. They're just totally hiding. I'm going to come up when this is all over. I hope they don't, though, man. I hope they vote. Because we got to get this asshole out of office. I can't believe somebody would actually support this asshole. I just can't believe it. The anchor Fox Position News. Did you see? We were talking about Foxhole this morning. Code generation phase doing. Are you using SSA form? I don't even know what that is. If you know what that is, let me know because I'm relatively new at it. I'm just doing. I haven't written a compiler or anything like that before. All I'm doing is just walking the tree and generating code that can be used to make your own parser. What is SSA form? I'm going to go look it up right now. Static single assignment. In compiler design, static single assignment form is a property of an intermediate representation, which requires that each variable be assigned exactly once, and every variable be defined before it is used. Existing variables in the original IR are split into versions. New variables typically indicate by the original name with a subscript in textbooks, so that every definition gets its own version. In SSA form, use def chains and explicit, and each contains a single element. No, not using that. This isn't quite as so far as to go and hell no. Trump is a fucking autocratic asshole who's a mob boss who's completely encephalitic. Anybody who thinks otherwise is just as stupid as him. There's overwhelming objective evidence of that, including the entire psychological organization. The entire thing came out and made a public statement about his psychological health. That doesn't happen, dude. That's not political. So let's see, what's your code generate? So SSA form is probably more than I would actually need kappa votes. So, you know, that's probably really all I'm trying to do here is to do a little bit of parser code generation that can be included in somebody else's code. You know, kind of in the lack in, you know, about Lex and Yak, you know, about those things. It's been kind of fun. It's been a really fun activity because it's forced me to get into some of the you know, data structures and algorithms, graph theory and stuff that I normally didn't care about. I don't know, man. I don't know about Biden. I just know he's not Trump. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Oh, dude, it's so insane. This is what's going to happen. I'm going to predict right now. Trump is either going to die in office, or he's going to make himself into a martyr. Because if he becomes a regular citizen again, he's never coming up for air. He's going to be so, and he is so into his legacy, and he's so fucking insane that he will not allow himself to go down without this big romantic dramatic thing. And he doesn't even deny it. He doesn't even deny it. He doesn't even deny it. Reporters ask him point blank, what will you do if you have to leave? And he's like, I don't know, we'll see. And there's a mom on the comments. He goes, I can tell you right now that when someone says we'll see, that means it's not going to go down well. It's like, yeah, he's immediately going to go to prison forever. Do you think he'll let himself go to prison at his age? With his level of hubris and narcissistic, you know, tendencies? He's been diagnosed. The National Committee for Psychological Health or whatever it is has diagnosed him as being completely insane. And do you think that guy is going to act rationally? He's not going to leave peacefully, period. And if he gets his judge in, we're really fucked. Because if he gets his judge in, then he'll challenge the vote with 30% by losing with a 30% margin, and he'll still challenge it. And the idea is that it'll be on the courts. And if the courts, if this new person on the court, if she votes to keep Trump in, even though there's like an overwhelming majority of ballots that say that he shouldn't win, then you really know America is fucked. Because then you'll know that our judicial system doesn't even work at all, like even at the highest level. I know it's all going to go down next month. There is no doubt. There's 100% certainty at this point that he will challenge the election no matter what. He has challenged every single decision he didn't agree with in court. He constantly challenges everything in court. Do you think this is any different? He's already probably planning his how he's going to challenge the thing. And he got his election campaign manager off, who's helping him out in the shadows because he pardoned his ass. Even though the guy's like a multiple times over felon because he's got all his people off. He's going to get voted out. And then the Supreme Court is going to have to make a decision. So that is a given. Because the FBI can't act until there's a decision from the court. They're not going to be able to take him out of the White House until there's a court decision from the Supreme Court. So it's going to go on for a while. And there's going to be rioting and all that shit. And then we have to see what the court does. Because if the court votes him in, what the fuck? What do you do now? Right? Even if all the Senate was voted out. But if the Senate, this is another thing. This is the thing that people haven't thought about. So the one that scares me is that once they control the Supreme Court, now they can contest all the Senate post-elections. So the only hope for us is to get those assholes in the Senate out, and they will be voted out. There's overwhelming evidence that they're going to be voted out. But when they get voted out, they can also pull a Trump, because Trump just set the precedent. So now they're all going to go to the Supreme Court and contest all of their elections, which means nobody's going to accept the election results. And that's a full-blown fucking civil war. And then the question is, where's the military going to land? And the Pentagon's already said, we're not doing anything. We're standing back. But thank God the military hates Trump. Oh, my God. Thank God for that. Yeah, the military overwhelmingly is anti-Trump. So they're so anti-Trump. So when shit hits the fan and there's absolute chaos in the streets, the local fat beat cops are going to be on Trump's side. But the Navy SEALs are going to be on the side of justice and truth and order. And they are not going to fuck around. So, and they'll it's really weird to talk about this, but I'm not the only person who's talking about this. This is, in the social engineering documentary, they actually suggest that the end game for all of this shit from Facebook is civil war. And that's where we're headed right now. So, yeah. Well, I don't know. They're trying to change that, Mac. The whole thing. Pelosi trying to get a 9-year term limit on that. FDR was in for 14 years. And so Trump's like, hell, I'm going to do that, man. I want to do that. I want to be him. And Putin's like shaking his head. It's like novice. Novice. Trump is such a lapdog for Putin. He wants to be him so bad. No, there will be. Dude. Will it be absolute total civil war? I don't know. I don't think so. But what happens when the court system is unable to make decisions so that our election system actually works? The American system, whether or not the election system has ever worked, is a big question. Whether it's ever represented the people at all, that's a big question. But when the actual mechanisms of our political process stop working, and we actually try to have a peaceful, we try to do the thing which says, hey, just vote, and you can vote out the person you disagree with, who's also a misogynistic asshole and encephalitic. We're going to vote that asshole out. Right? And what's really funny is my wife just read this morning this thing about Fox News. So they're playing out, they're playing out a scenario with Fox News. This is super interesting. So I have to just repeat it really quickly, and I'll go get some coffee and go back to work. But there's this article my wife was reading. I can't remember where it's from. I should probably get more stats for it. I'm summarizing. Please go find your own copy of it. Make your own, don't trust me. But it suggests a scenario. It talks about there is the guy who is in charge, according to my wife who read the article. There's the guy who is in charge of Fox News data tallying and election results is a Democrat, and he's a very staunch Democrat. He's a very by the book process kind of guy, and he doesn't really report to anybody else. He had to think about who he pays his expenses to. In the article, it said that to figure out who he answers to at Fox, because Fox is apparently Fox is a big chaos engine right now. There's nobody really leading it inside, because since what's his face died. Anyway, so the reason this is relevant is because they're playing out a worst case scenario where, Trump calls into Fox all the time, right? So they're playing it. This is how they're playing it out. They're going to wait until, so if there's a close election, if there's not a close election, this kind of all changes. But if there's a close election, which everybody thinks there will be, then Trump is going to call into Fox and announce victory early, like way early. And it's going to come down to this one dude. Because there's a strategy there. The strategy is, once you call in saying that you've won, what it does is it totally turns the tide of everybody who's still watching the television. And so it's a kind of an election tactic that there are fucking horrible news. I want to be first to predict the election has caused this because, advertising and greed, all the same reasons we're all fucked, right? So, but it actually seriously works to your favor if you call in early and say, I won. And then all of your propaganda cronies put it out there that you won. He's like, well, who's he going to call? Is he going to call Sean Hannity? Is he going to call Laura Ingraham? Who's he going to call to tell that he won? And then it comes down to the people that are managing the data, there's this one guy who's a Democrat who's over in charge of the data results at Fox, and it might come down to him, because apparently he's the only person who can hold back the declaration of victory on Fox News. And, as Mayor Pete did to Bernie. Yeah. Well, yeah. And Pete announced his victory falsely. Yeah. Who knows? It's like, yeah. So stuff like that is going to, there's a lot of stuff that happened in the Bernie race I don't want to talk about. And the Democratic convention was a disaster. I feel really sorry about that one, because I actually like Bernie a lot. You know why? Because he's mostly an authentic human being. Anyway, so, everybody's got problems, right? But, mostly an authentic. I would say the same thing about Mitt Romney, even though I would never vote for him. But right now I wouldn't if he was running. He's mostly an authentic. He's at least following his heart to the best of his ability. Trump is just fucking insane. It's going to be close to me after recent events, but we'll see. I'm not that caught up in US. Yeah, I don't like talking about politics anyway, but this was just an interesting article, because it says, because if Fox is going to have to make a decision, fair and balanced, which is, their theme. I cannot believe that Fox, especially when they come out and say, as a defense against one of their people, that, everybody knows that anything he says isn't true. It's just an opinion show. Everybody knows that. And they're like, no, that's not the way you sell the show. Yeah. Look, it is what it is, right? I think of anybody who I think held to his standards. And that's a tough thing to say about anybody in politics, of course. But I think I believe, I don't know. Nobody really knows. That's the hardest part with all of this, is everybody's just acting on gut instinct. We don't really have any evidence. Our realities are totally different, because we've been subject to these reality shaping machines through social engineering and social media. We've been sucking down our own Kool-Aid in whatever form for so long now, because of the social media problems, that we don't even know what's real anymore. Our whole country doesn't know what real. The whole world doesn't know what's real. And so you have to question, well, what is my reality? And there are ways to combat it. But dude, the psychology, the studies, they have psychologists come in and they talk about these big experiments that they're doing with our brains, and they're doing things that we just won't be able to respond. They literally are controlling us like puppets. It's insane. CNN and all the major outlets are the furthest thing away from traditional journalism. They really are. They are. Traditional journalism was never perfect either. that saying that things were better in the good old days. Yeah, no, but yeah, I don't watch them at all. I can't. If I no, I just won't. I refuse. I'll go, get a bit of news here and a bit of news there, and then I'll try to compare them. I do watch. I have an assholes list on my Twitter feed so that it comes in my list, and that way I know that it's assholes that are talking. And usually, because I want to see the people, and so I kind of get, it's really, really hard to get any kind of. There's just no way. The hardest part is there's no way to get a fair and balanced anything today, no matter what Fox is. The fact that Fox calls itself fair and balanced, probably the most opinionated propaganda machine that has ever existed on our airways. And and Washington Post is the same, right? Bloomberg, yeah, they're all non-news. They're getting bought up by corporations. Bezos bought up Washington Post so we can control the articles. There's no way to find any kind of truth, and nobody's following any kind of scientific methods. They're not checking themselves. They don't even know what Snopes is. Everyone is constructing their own reality, and I don't know how you can have a society like that. And that's one of the main points of the social engineering documentary show. It's not really a documentary, but the thing is on Netflix right now. So it's like we all have our own realities. And so I'm gonna go get coffee. And yeah. So I think what I always say though is at least it beats Chinese labor camps. Yes, you can always compare yourself to others. So there's always something worse out there. Makes you feel better. But at the end of the day, the one thing I think is if we could just all know, there's two rules that I'm taking out of this. One is, no matter how bad it gets, I personally want to follow the mantra of give the other person the benefit of the doubt. It doesn't mean let them run over you and bully you, but it means give them the benefit of the doubt. That person who cut me off, maybe they just misjudged that turn that one day. I've done that, right? Everybody's done that. Give the other person the benefit of the doubt. That person over there who's screaming at you on the other side of the political line has probably seen so much shit that they have not fact-checked on Facebook that you need to give them the benefit of the doubt, and that they possibly are being controlled by a social media machine, and that they are not the kind of raving, violent lunatic that they appear to be. I'm going to try to do that. I want to try to see other people as human beings and not as everything else that you could probably try to imagine. We have got to give each other the benefit of the doubt. If we don't do that right now, guess what? If I'm on the right wing, right? That Mexican American just might not be wanting to kill me. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they're just a hard worker who wants a better life for their kids. Maybe. Give them the benefit of the doubt. We don't need to take an AK-47 out into the front yard with no shoes on and protect our home, because maybe those people that are out there that are angry have no intention of breaking into my home. You know what I mean? Maybe. So, it's like, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? So it's like, yeah. And watch this show in October from afar. Yeah, well, you might think this isn't going to affect you, but I guarantee it will. It will definitely affect you. Yeah, this is the problem. We're all intertwined now. The whole world is intertwined. You can't get away from it. Yeah, yep. If nothing more, it'll affect the balance of power in the military. As America becomes more and more of a power vacuum, that's just letting Russia and China walk in, and North Korea. They're taking over the world because America's falling on its ass, because the world has mistakenly relied on America too much to defend and police the world. And people challenge me on that all the time. They don't think that's true. What do you think? Yeah, it's like, no, America's done horrible things with this military, and it doesn't need, I'm not saying that, but it also has, in some areas, maintain peace, whatever you want to call it. But it definitely, I tell you what, man, when the power vacuum of the American military goes away, and you have to depend on the Russians, all the people with the money, and all the Middle Eastern people who have like most of the money in the world, if you have to depend on all of them, and you have to depend on the other powerhouses in the world for the order of our entire world, it's going to get really interesting. Yeah, it's going to get really interesting, because then you don't even have a country that's trying to be democratic in charge. And, our country fails miserably at it. But what happens when America completely descends into chaos? And do you guys remember when Russia failed and all of those weapons were just up for the highest bidder? I do think they should work with Russia. I agree. But Russia's, U.S. superpower to China, Russia any day. So, look, U.S. sucks on so many levels. And we know it. And we're trying to get better. But, and I'm not, I sound like an American when I say, well, you want those commies in charge of the world? I mean, that sounds like something an American would say. But I know it's an oversimplification, but if you take the power vacuum away, seriously, if you shift, look, we're seeing what happens when you shift the balance of power in the branches of government in America right now. Right? When the executive has too much power, and when it takes over the judicial and it has too much power, when the Senate has too much power and the Congress can't do anything, they can't even impeach a fucking president. When that takes over, when the balance of power shifts like that and they get so much control, it's like terrifying for Americans. But when you look at the worldwide stage and you start shifting the power around, which I think China's going to own us. I think the future is China. I don't like saying that, but I think we're all going to be living in a Firefly episode in 100 years. You guys know what I'm talking about? Time for me to get coffee. I'm getting really political and ranty and stuff, but yeah, it's the governments, it's oligarchy, it's greed, it's survival of the fittest. The people who are doing all this stuff actually give a shit. The evil people are always the ones that are going to chase the money and they're going to chase the power. The good people are never going to do that. Most of the people in America didn't even want the war of independence. They didn't even want it. Washington had to conscript people that he tricked. Is Adam Ruins American History. It's amazing story. He had to trick people into joining his militia so that he could actually have an army, because none of the landowners wanted. The only people who wanted independence from England were the landowners. They were the only ones. So they threw everybody into a and where they all are, Look, we're just another empire, and about lifting the energy level for this discussion. It's all good. Next, let's have a problem with the Space Wars. All right, Mac. On that note, I'm going to go get more coffee if it exists, and I'll be back. I'm actually going to finish coding a little bit more. Hopefully, people will fast forward over that. Here's some nice fish. Here, you can look at the nice fish. yeah, I went downstairs and warmed my coffee up and had some toast. So yeah, let's see. Nice. Okay. What am I doing? I am doing this. Printing out a tokens list by walking the tree. I need to get one source for this. I almost want to do a sub repo. Yeah, you can do that, right? You can put a repo inside of another repo and just pull it in. I'm seriously tempted to do that, actually. You know what? I am going to do that. I am going to do that. I'm going to use a sub repo. I'm going to get rid of these other things. These are messing me up. AST, JSON long, JSON, remove PEGN, not PEGN. All right, so I am going to use a submodule, which I have to look up how to do it. Get submodules. Submodule. There we go. Submodules. It often happens that while working on a project, you need another project inside of it, which is what I need. Perhaps it's a library, blah, blah, blah. Still be able to use the other one. Here's an example. Blah, blah, blah. I don't need that. I know what I'm doing. Get submodule add. Cloning by default. Get status. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. All right, let's try that. Get submodule add. Get at. Get lab. Let's see. Get at getlab.com/ no, colon, PEGN /spec. And yeah, there we go. Check out my Git modules. There it is. And so, yeah. I've broken some things, but that's fine because it's trying to load my AST from there. It doesn't exist anymore, but now it's under the spec. If you run git status at this point, you'll notice a few things. Git modules and spec have been added. Okay. Yeah. Git diff cached is a project folder. If you run git diff on that, you see something interesting. Let's see. Git sees it as a submodule and doesn't track its content when you're in that directory. Instead, Git sees it as a particular commit from that repository. If you want a little nicer diff output, you can do blah. Special mode basically means that you're recording a commit as a directory rather than as a subdirectory or a file. Git push origin master, including a project with submodules. Compressing blah blah blah. Git clone recurse submodules. Interesting. All right. Well, it's good to know. Check for new work in a submodule. You can go into the directory and run git fetch and git merge the upstream branch to update the local code. Huh. Interesting. Okay, well, that's what I'm going to need to do eventually. So, but for now, I can just change some stuff. So I'm going to change my code in .go to use the spec. And that's why it's in the test case. Underscore test.go. We're not going to read AST. We're going to read spec / AST.json. And there we go. So yeah, this is just checking something else out. Yeah. That's a nice change. All right, so now we're off and running on what we were doing before, which is just generating a tokens list. I was actually optimizing one file parser before, but I'm kind of shifting gears on it. Did I change my restream title? Yes, I did. I should probably change my, like, nobody cares, but I should change this. There. That'll be creating constant tokens from the AST. And then what? We're going to go ahead. Ron Paul. Hardly. All right, so let's do this. I got some temp stuff in here, which is, those are all the new modules. These need to go into the final version of the parser, but we're going to generate that thing. So yeah, let's just focus on generation for now. GenGo, we got this going on. What else? What's going on here? I don't understand why you are. Something is afoot. Did I kill my other test? No, it's in gen test. That's right. Oh, that's why. So there. That's what I want. All right. So now all I need to do is get that to the right things. And that's not hard, actually. So we just need to say, if I have a first child, which everybody should have, and we probably should do the first child. I'm just curious. I had it was blowing up before because of the right curly, so that's now been fixed. If for any reason that blew up, it would be because the AST was wrong. So I don't know if I need to check to see if these are nil or not. I shouldn't have to do that. I shouldn't have to do any validation during this part of it. It should, and if I actually did have to do validation, the blow up would be correct, because that would mean that somebody was providing incorrect AST data that doesn't exist and doesn't comply with the thing. I mean, and I don't feel like giving a nice, healthy error at this point. This is just for generation. So if you have a broken grammar, not going to worry about that. The difference, however, is that I guess I do have to check, because I want to be able to generate tokens that are not always reserved. So there's only two ways tokens can exist. They can either be reserved, or they can just be regular plain tokens. And that's actually represented in the grammar. So under a token def. So token def is blah, 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 and then it's a token value spacing in some other token values. Token values can be a rune. Now the token ID is the key. And so there are different kinds of token IDs. This is also why you don't want to mess with the order. You want to put them underneath as children. So this res token ID thing is kind of the replacement for an attribute. If I had attributes in my tree model, which I do not, I think they're dumb. I don't like them. They're abused all the time. So here we have token ID, and we can get a res token ID or just a regular upper. A res token ID is significant, but that's only because I want to see the res. But so you either have a first child situation or you don't. And the way to check for that is the value. So by definition, an AST shall not have a node shall not have a value if it's a parent. The value is nil. It's either nil or it's an empty string, one of the two. And so yeah, so I can actually do this. I can say if, you know, I don't know if I want to do length. I could probably just do first child. First child is the best way to check, I guess. So if n dot first child, if I have a child, does not equal nil, then this. All right. Actually, what we want to do is this. So I want to say if first child equals nil, then we want n to equal, does not equal nil. Then we want n to equal n dot first child. So that takes it out of its thing. It's a reserved ID. We don't care about that. And then here, instead of doing first child, we can just do first child, and then that'll be fine. So that kind of gets rid of the reserved. And I can put a thing here that says that. So it's like reserved token ID. Catch the reserved token ID. And these are all planes. So, all right. So yeah. I'm glad that worked, because that is an example of my strategy for just using nodes instead of attributes. So that makes me feel good. But we still have a bunch of stuff to do here. Namely, this is just a token ID. And I'm still trying to figure out, oh, this is the first child. That's why. Okay, good. So first child is just the name. So we'll put equals, and then another percent of V. And so we want the first child, and then we want the, well, actually that I'm going to have to build up, I'm afraid. Yep, I'm going to have to build that part up. So first child dot value. So there we go. We have, there's our token. This is starting to take shape. You know, we can put a couple, technically I could put a tab there since this is Golang. So we have a tab, and then we have all this stuff. Before the action is a thing. Where's buff? Did we not define buff? Oh yeah, buff is here. So yeah, so we can go ahead and add some stuff to the buff. We can say buff equals const boom. Actually, I'm gonna do this so I can put a line return in it. And then at the end, yeah, actually I can wrap up this and that'll be work. That works nice. So, oops, wrong side. I'll do this down here. And so yeah, that adds, there's our constant. And then I just have to mine out the other stuff. And yeah, I'm not seeing the interesting. You know what? I think we have another mistake here. Let me go check. So AST long form. I want to see where our comments went. So we do have a comment. Okay. Oh, I know what's wrong. Yeah, I need to not do this. That is bad. All right, so we have the ident. I'm just gonna do this. It's a little bit slower, but oh well. So the ident equals, this is the whole part about the type. So if the first child does not equal nil, then what? Oh, I'm going to have this. Yep, there's no way around that. I'm going to have an else. I don't like else's, but so we either have a reserved ID or we don't. In which case it is something else, of course. So this equals, it's not the first child, it wouldn't even be the first child of that, I don't think. Yeah, I think it is that. Yep, there we go. So it equals whatever. So then we just do the ident. We're going to make the ident equal that. All right, so let's do that. So ident. No. I can't get away. I don't have to use else, thank God. So ident equals n dot first child. But if I do dot value, it's going to say I don't have a value because I'm not nil. No, I just have to declare it. Var ident string. All right. And then what? Then we do ident equals I mean, yeah, ident equals and so yeah, and then this down here becomes first child of value, and then what? And then oh whoops, buff fnt sprintf and ident v and then \r. So that's going to do all of those. All right, all good, but we also need some more stuff. We can have the ident be its own section. What else? We need we need the value. So the value can actually be a bunch of things now. So we're going to have to make a little loop here. And yeah, so I mean, let me give you an example. So this didn't used to be the case. It used to be, so character return line feed is the one we have to go find, because that's like a sample. It's a perfect example of it. Where are you, babe? Where are you? Vertical tab. Nope, there it is. All right, so this has two IDs in it after that. So it has two values, and then we have the comment. So basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looping through for as long as the ID is a token ID. No, for as long as the ID is not a comment. And it's not a comment and it's not an end of line. So, yeah, no, I don't, but I'm sick and tired of you posting on my thing. So this is a little tricky because I have to keep looping and drawing stuff. I should probably just do, yeah. I probably could make a helper routine for this, but I don't need to do that. So, you know, this is where I need a case statement. I just need a case statement, honestly. So after I got the identifier for the first one, the rest of them are good. So that would be the child of the first, the sibling of the first child. And yeah. So yeah, I mean this is there's lots of ways to do this. That's what I'm thinking about. So I could do yeah, I'm gonna do this. I don't think I can do a for loop because we don't have we don't have children. We only have. I mean, when you do the children, it's a call that does the walking. So I could actually do the walking myself and save time. A little bit more code, but so yeah. So we do this. We're just gonna, you know what? I am a big fan of for loops that don't have any criteria. I'm just gonna own it. Well, I just killed my test. My test went into La La Land. But still, I like it. So I just do. I just like the construct of it. It's very clean. All right. So what are we doing? We are going to start with the first child. So we're going to say child index child equals 1. And child carbon not used. Right. So then we're going to do this. We're going to say buff equals we'll put you up here, I guess. And we'll put you here. The buff equals, and for now I don't care, so I'm just going to do and we'll say I'll say what? Actually, I don't even need to do that. I don't think. I could say while it's the current child. So let's see here. So sprintf, the next one would be n dot well, I can't do the peer of the first child. Yes, I can actually. First child dot dot what? I think it's dot next. Fuck. PEGN test. No, fuck no. God damn it. All right. It's, I forget the next sib. That's it. So next sib. So first child, actually no, it's gonna be so it's the first child's sibling. Next sib. And child of carbon not used. Yeah. And actually I don't need that. So actually we don't need that there. So let's put that there. So there, we're getting there. The question I have is why, I think it's always the problem is that it has to be, this is only going to have one. So this is got a problem here still. So nobody need to freak out here. It's going to have to change. So, but for right now, it's going to look correct, but it's actually not. So that looks correct. But the problem is that if we go over here and we look at the CRLF, see how it fails, because it's not getting the next sib on that. And so if I only have one value, it works, right? But we have to support 2 values for the tokens. And that includes strings, by the way. Wait, where's all our strings? Please tell me I didn't leave out the strings. Oh my God. I think we did. Fuck. Oh my God, really? Oh, I'll be so happy when this parser is done. The automation is finished. This is actually skipping anything that's string related, which is bad. Yeah, that's like, I just want to go take a break because I screwed up again. My by hand parser is not getting the string value for the tokens. It's sending a tilde, which means that, and you know what? I would never have found this if I hadn't done my own code generation. But I tell you what, after I get the code generation done, I ain't never going back. I'm not taking a break. I feel I can't take a break. I must fix this. But this is a problem. So left arrow, all of these are being ignored. They're not being parsed currently. And that is a problemo. I may actually be disallowing it somehow. And if that's true, I have bigger problems. So I have to look at the spec. It's either a spec problem or it's a parser problem. And so we have to rule out that it's a spec problem. So, so yeah, we have the dash, we have visible, the token def. There we go. So token values, it can be a rune, a string, or a token ID. So what's happening is that the strings are getting parsed. Token IDs are also not being parsed, because if they were, this would work right here. So apparently only rune is working in the parser. So this is correct. So this means, once again, that the by hand parser I made has got another flaw in it. And this is why I'm trying to get out of the business of doing by hand parsers and generate it as soon as possible, because the generator isn't going to make mistakes like I would. It's going to do it the same way every time consistently, rather than, have some things that are not done well. And but other than that, I mean, our constant generation strings looks pretty good, right? We got it all going on. And then we would probably have a comment after that. So we do need to say, well, who's here? So yeah, try to think. So that must mean that there is no value. Let me see here. Next sibling. Yeah, the only thing I can figure is that didn't get parsed at all. I'm gonna try something here though, just for fun. Ident, comma, and because I want to see if it's actually in the AST. I'm pretty sure it is. So it's just the parser part that's having problems. return line for, there we go. So it actually is there. It's just not getting it right. So it's getting that, and then it's getting the CR, and then it's getting another line feed. And because those are token IDs, we're going to need to dig into that. So that's what's going on there. Because these guys don't have that, right? These guys, their next child, the value is a CR. They don't have token IDs that we have to go into. Because those are token IDs, we have to identify them. So I have to do like some case switching here. As I iterate through all the children, I have to do some case switching and paste it all back together. But that's, that's fine. It's acceptable. Is it going to be fast? No. I mean, it's going to take me a while to do it, but yeah, we're getting there. We're definitely getting there. All right. So we have our identifiers, and so this little loop's got to change. We do know that our strings are being captured, so I've got to change. I got to open a ticket on that, otherwise I'm going to forget. So we're going to go to, we put another issue on the master branch. I think it's still changed to token def, still implemented. Okay, I did that one. New issue. Token. Token defs with string values ignored by parser. Submit issue. I need to come back to that, fix that in the first parser. So I have something to look at there. All right, and then what? Well, you know what? Let's at least get this one thing done. We almost have this. Once I fix the string thing, I can fix a bunch of the other stuff. Truth is, I could probably fix the string thing right now. Why don't I do that? I could, because here's the thing. It doesn't matter where it comes from as long as it's in here. So, so actually I could cheat and add this by hacking on the AST. It would just be this, but it would just be a string here. Problem is, I'm going to have to manipulate it on that one line. Yeah, there's no comments, so that's not too hard to do actually. PEGN go. So yeah, I'd have to save that though. I kind of don't want to do that because reasons. I could have swore strings got parsed. I don't know. I'll have to go check. I don't want to get sucked into that right now. I want to stay with my tokens. So I'm going to generate as many tokens as I can reliably, and then I'll come back and I'll fix the string thing at another session. So all right. So we have to iterate through all of the children, but we don't have the children. So there's a couple of things I could do here. If I wanted to keep it kind of easy to write, I could do node.children, and then I could just iterate through those children and say, hey, this is how it goes. And just do a case statement on that. And frankly, that's fine for what we're doing here. This is not high performance code. This particular code is just generating the tokens. So let's do that. Then I can just range over. It'd be a lot easier. Oopsie, what'd I do? So yeah, let's do that. So for let's see, for SIB for SIB in range n dot children and from 1 on. And that's going to include the comment, actually. So, and then we can do this. We can say sib. And it's, that's weird. It should have had more siblings than that. That's a problem. Because the comments, that means the comments aren't being parsed either. I could have swore the comments were in there, though. The comments are here. They're right there. So token diff token ID tilde x70. We have that. So where the fuck is the comment? The comment is up here. Oh, because it's children, and I need children of. Oh no, I have. No. What am I doing? Dot parent. Not children. There, that's better. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Oh wow, that's like way too many though. That's like the grammar. All right, so something's wrong with that function call. Yeah. Let's see here. So. All right, so children equals. I don't think I have siblings. In fact, I know I don't. No, we need rest equals n dot parent dot children, and let's just print those out first. Buff. Type string. How about we add a string? Let's do this for rest. Range rest. And this will go back to the number of 1 again. Yep. So there we go. So we have, and there's everything that we wait. Huh. Parent is messed up, I think. No. First child value. Maybe it is children. Maybe I mixed that up. That's just a token ID. Yeah, I think that children function's busted. God damn it. Because it's only giving me the token ID. It's not giving me. FMT sprintf what in all right, so I just want to be sure that I'm getting this right. So I have, this is the whole thing. Pipe curly value. This is the comment, and this is the line return. So the node is there, and node.children should work. That means that node.children is not working. Let me think here. Let's see here. So it would be no, not. Well, these are not. Let's see. I wonder if I could do. Yeah. No, it doesn't have the ID, so it's not looking it up. It's something up to fix later. Yeah. So 10 is a token def, obviously. There's the identifier. There's the value. And here's the comment. And here's the line return. And these are children, or their siblings. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, so we should be able to go through the array of children. Actually, I don't need to do children. I could just do, yeah, I don't know why I didn't think of this. N dot value. And because its value is children, I can skip the first one. Yeah, this is going to be like a end of value of v. Let me think here. No, that's right. That was right. That's what it would be. So it would be, and that sibling. So it'd actually be the parent. Dot value. So sure. Be 10, it'd be 19, it'd be brace. 45. It's actually, I want, it's the first child that we want, isn't it? It is. In both cases, it's the first child. So it's not the first child, though. It's the first. It's the. Let's see here. It would be the second child of the token def. So yeah. I guess what I could probably do is just grab the children. That's what I probably should do. From the parent. The first child's parent children. So, I mean, it's like, because we're always going to skip over the first one. So yeah, I could probably do that. So children equals n dot let's see. I am confused. I need to go sleep. So, because I cannot get my head around that. It's not that big a deal, so I'm freaking out. It should be, and the value should be the children. Because the value, actually no, there shouldn't be a value. It should be, I mean, what is the value? No, it should be the children, and the first child is, yeah. There we go. That's what I wanted. Finally. And yeah, and then we're going to skip over the first one. I had that at one point. Why did I not do that anymore? Oh, there's the comments. Good. You know what? That broke something. You know, I just don't get that. I kind of need a siblings is what I need, because I need to be able to walk the tree. I'm trying to do the range over the thing, and the truth is I just need to be able to look and see if I have a next. You know what? When in doubt, just do it plainly. Yeah, because my brain's not engaged today. I need to breaks on a loop. Yeah, fine. There's no such thing as a sibling. Fine. All right, so we got that part working. Let's do this. Let's say, so the first thing I need is the first child. So that would be, I mean, I don't even need a sprinter for this, but whatever. But it would be the current. It would be the next sibling of the first child. And then what? All right, so and it'd be the value. And then if we have another one, and this is where the loop's going to kind of make itself manifest. So then we're going to say, actually, we're going to do this, take rid of that. All right, so then if n dot first, and if all right, so sib equals n dot first child, next sib. What I need is I need a lateral walk function. I'm probably going to have to add it to the node struct interface, because that way I could just walk through the linked list that's in there instead of doing what I'm doing now. I can write basically my own range function. That's what I need to do. So yeah, I mean, I may as well add that, but not right now. So sib declare not use. Okay, so if sib is not equal nil, then what? Then we're gonna do sib.value. And so yeah, and then what? Then we continue this. So we say roll this into a loop, and we say for put you up here, sib equals whatever. Actually, let's do current var current. Actually, current equals n, and then we do the next one, and then we say current equals current next sib. Again, I could write. I need to write a thing for this. And undefined sib, and then if sib equals nil, okay, so we do if sib equals nil, then bail, break. Otherwise, add the sib value and increment the sib. Current first child, current equals sib. Undefined sib. Var sib is a pointer to a PEGN node. So now what? Equals first child. Okay, so actually no, we don't need that. We need end dot first child next sib, and sib equals I don't know if it goes here or the next one. There we go. We're getting there. So yeah. Equals no break. And let's do this. Let's add so we need to do that for every yeah, we don't need that. Look at the indent. And then what? We have the we should have the first child. So actually no, I could just make this the first child. There we go. We're getting there. We're getting there. And then we need a if it's yeah, so I actually have to have a thing where it says if it's a comment, then I put a thing in front of it. So, and actually it's interesting because it's printing even the line return, which I find fascinating. It's maintaining the line return even, so I don't even have to do it. That's why it's doing that. It's going all the way to the end. So that's fine with me. And if yeah, I need to do a thing here. I need to say if sib dot what is the comment? What is the comment? I don't know. Well, I don't have to know. So if the sib type let's see. Yeah. If the sib type equals a PEGN comment, then add a comment. and that's all good. There we go. Don't need this extra one here apparently. So there we go, and that is exactly what we want, which is good because I was getting kind of tired of writing that. But you know, this is the kind of code that you can write because you have a predictable abstract syntax tree. If I didn't have that, I couldn't write this level of like specific logic in order to generate the thing. So it's really up to the people creating the grammar what the syntax is. And then that syntax manifests itself in generation by you know, using the structure of the abstract syntax tree to decide how the thing should be written or how it should be validated. And that's going to be the next thing we're going to do after all this. We're going to do validation as well. But as you can see, this produces a file. This produces the token section with comments, which is kind of nice. And that is really all that's required. So the next, I'm going to go ahead and shut down this session. We got what we needed. And frankly, I was able to do it in one function instead of one that just extracts out all the token definitions, and then, you know, draws them all. So this is more efficient. Again, code generation does not need to be performant. It's something that happens very rarely. So I can do kind of lazy shit like I did here, but it works. You know, I mean, look at this. It's beautiful. You know, this could be injected right into my grammar. There are a couple of things that are broken still. So obviously this is still broken, right? Oh, here's another one. So that is actually escaping that. I'm going to leave that in there. Yeah, this one is busted though. And the reason that's broken is for some reason that's outside of the scope. I need to fix that when I fix the strings. So the multis are broken and the strings are broken. This one is broken in the sense of it's not even iterating over it, even though it exists. So that's what I'm going to have to come back and fix. But it shouldn't be that bad. The one that's more problematic here is the strings are not getting parsed at all from the by hand parser that I use, which is all going to get rewritten. I almost did it today. So the by hand parser has a number of inefficiencies in it that I'm starting to just think or don't have any practical usage. And so I'll be probably abandoning many of the methods in the original parser. For example, I'm going to be using marker. I'm going to use internal markers that are built into the parser. So the parser is going to be, I did the parser such that it would be independent and I could use it for anything. And now that we're going with a one file scenario for most things, that means that like any other thing, I'm going to optimize the parser to know about the language that it's parsing somewhat. Not completely. It's still largely cut and paste into some other thing, so you could use the same parser in some other project. Same with the node tree, by the way. But by giving them a little bit of knowledge about the kind of grammar that they're parsing, without giving them all the knowledge, like making everything a method, all the parse functions into methods, which is stupid, if you ask me. We're gonna get some efficiencies. And that's coming next. So this is a good enough token generator for me right now. It's a good thing for me to go ahead and save. I'm not ready to commit it just yet because I need to fix these bugs here. But otherwise, I will go ahead and commit this. This is as a stage, it's a milestone or whatever. So yeah, I may or may not be back to work on that a little bit later today. I'm gonna take a break for an hour or so, and we'll see how it goes. So, yep, just you'll get notified if you if you follow me. Let me go check out with our YouTube people and see if they've had any questions. Generally they don't, but let's go ahead and see if they're here. And oh my god, I really hate Firefox. Can I just say this white got brought to you courtesy of Firefox. Yeah, and this is going to be me talking to myself too. Watch. Got brought to you courtesy. There's a Twitch channel CLI. Amazing. No, there's not actually. So yeah, that's a fun thing. Hi, Ralph. So yeah, there actually isn't. I made it. So yeah. Anyway, it's been fun. I'm going to go ahead and cancel here, and we'll talk to y'all